Are you recording? Okay. Welcome to CK Creative Studio. I will be your host for today. My name is Simone Key, and I am president and CEO of a branding and interactive agency located here in Dallas, Texas. We have Chef Patrick in the building. He is a celebrity chef, been doing this for 14 years, he said?
Yeah, as a private chef, 14 years. Been a chef for about 24 years. So it's been a good career. So so I'm happy to be here. You done?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. you done. But no, well, I wanted to list all your credentials. It's like
Go ahead.
I was trying to remember all of them, but you had so many. He has so many things that he has done. So I would say so. Chef Ken has been featured on the Travel Channel, where he won international
The fire
Food
food challenge on the Travel Channel. That
He's
was actually
had,
my very first competition.
and how was that like?
It was good. It was fun. It was basically, I had to, cook really like spicy food. So I think I did like this mango habanero spicy shrimp dish. So it won the judges over. It was spicy. It was sweet. It was delicious. So then I went on to Food Network and I did Guys Grocery Games, Cutthroat Kitchen. All those crazy cooking shows. So those were fun. That was another great opportunity for me to get out and just kind of test myself, test my capabilities, test my food, and just pretty much wow people. So it's been a great career. So then I moved on to the private chef industry, which actually I was working as a private chef at that time. But also at the same time, I was working in healthcare. So I come from a healthcare community for 17 years. So I did that for 17 years. And then once everything kind of came to a head to where I couldn't, no longer, do that, I retired from that and went full-time entrepreneurship, launched Ken Patrick Spice Rubs, elevated my private chef career, which that really took off even during COVID. It really like boosted it because people were not going out to eat. So they were inviting me over to come cook for them, and
And he actually cooked for my stepsister and
oh yeah, I
boyfriend.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they said it was good. I think it was something similar to this.
it was
Right?
similar to this. We did lobster mac and cheese, and we did steak.
I was
we
jealous
did.
because she was sending me pictures like,
Oh,
oh my
was
gosh,
she?
this is good. Yeah.
See the live
Thank you
feed.
for referring him. So,
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. It was great. So I do a lot of those things where I show up at your home and I do multiple course restaurant style meals in your home. So where there's two guests, intimate, right now I'm going up to like 10 guests. So if you want a 3-4 course meal, I definitely bring those to your home or wherever you may be. If it's a hotel, I do those as well. People rent out hotel spaces and they have me come in. Because a lot of people are doing like these,
staycations.
yeah, staycations,
I
these
did one
little
last year.
getaways, and they'll bring the private chef in, to make it a little more
I did not
intimate,
think about that.
intimate for them. Yeah, so
Oh wow, that's a
yeah,
whole
yeah,
experience.
So the thing is, yeah, we may be in a pandemic, but you learn how to pivot. You know what I mean? And that's important if you have your own business to be able to stay afloat and keep it going. So I have been very fortunate to be able to to maintain my what I do. So it's been great. So y'all have any questions? Thank you very much. And on the flip side of that, well, you follow me on social media. I'm on IG, and I work out a lot. I do a lot of fitness.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, so I've lost 135 pounds.
Yeah,
So I was 329 pounds about 2 years ago, and so I just basically changed.
And how much did you lose?
About 135 pounds.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I just changed my mind, changed my whole mindset, and just changed the way I eat, and injected a whole lot of cardio into my daily routine.
And what was the turning point that made you want to change? Was it?
Well, I was in the military before, so I was in the Army for 6 years, and when I got out, I just became the chef guy and started cooking, and no one was holding me accountable, like the military was. So the chef it was cool, he's a chef. It's his food must be great, he's a big guy, everything's good. But the turning point for me was about 2 years ago. I was on the airplane coming back from cooking on a Tom and Joanna cruise. I do that every year. And when I was coming back, I couldn't buckle my seatbelt, and I knew right there I had to change something. And I never forget, I was trying to hold it buckled. I was trying to hold it closed, and the flight attendant goes, "Sir, you need to hook your seatbelt." And I was like, so I just sucked my stomach in and, you know, hooked it. And I said, next year when I come back, I'm going to be a whole different person. Well, COVID hit. We didn't go back to the cruise. So, now it's going on 2 years. We're scheduled to go back out in November. So we'll see how that goes. But
so, question: was
yes.
it difficult to keep your weight down during COVID? Because I know I've gained like maybe 15, 20 pounds during COVID, and my friends have.
Well, people call that like little COVID weight.
COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID-19.
I know I've gained it.
So, but no, it was actually easy for me because it just pushed me to go outside and run more. You know what I mean? So I was running. So I'm doing 3 to 5 miles a day right now. So it just pushed me to go out and run because I didn't have anything else to do.
I'm making excuses, and everybody
pretty much. You like I always say, if you armor your mind, and just get it together, and start walking, start doing baby steps. That's what I did. Gradually get back into it. The whole run game. I would walk a quarter mile. I would see a sign. I would say, I'm gonna walk to this sign today. I'm gonna walk to this house. I'm gonna make it to the street light. Like literally, I was doing that in my mind. And then I start running to these points, right? And then gradually, a quarter mile, half a mile. Then one day I was like, I'm gonna look up the Army PT test and see what it was back in the day when I had to pass it to qualify. So I looked that up. At my age, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And that was my little short-term goal. So now I'm crushed, it's easy. Like, I go to Army tomorrow. But no, like I really feel great. It just makes it makes what I do for a living too like that much easier.
Yeah, I was wondering because you cook all this amazing food and you're in front of it every day. It's not tempting to. Do you still have like cheat days and everything like that, or what?
Look, every day, it's not a cheat day, but I eat, right? Like seriously, people don't think you're not eating. Yeah, I eat, but I'm able to because I run. You know what I mean? I a lot of cardio, jump roping and stuff like that. I go to the gym. When the gym's open back up, started going back. But other than that, it's just like I don't like go crazy. I do have cheat days, and I always say, just enjoy your cheat.
So what's your favorite cheat meal?
Mac and cheese and
I can't
steak.
Wait to try that. That looks amazing.
Mac and cheese is one of my favorite. Chicken. A lot of grilled chicken, stuff like that. But I still like fried chicken and mac and cheese. Like that's like a cheat thing for me. Can't get away from that. But I'll go hit the track. I'm like, okay.
So I know we had a separate conversation about. So you're from Beaumont, Texas.
Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah, and we were talking about we love all of that. So my mom is from Arkansas and my dad is from Louisiana, and so we love like that home cooking meal. I love. People will be surprised, but I love chitlins. Y'all don't look at me crazy.
They're like, what's that?
Yeah. And all of dressing.
Some hot sauce.
Yeah, that's all you need is some hot sauce. That's all you need. And so that's what I'm used to cooking. And I remember us talking about that, how to make. I guess you can't really make that healthy, but
I don't know. I don't know. Chitlin mac and cheese. I don't know.
But yeah, you can start preparing. I guess you can.
Oh no, we're good. But my thing is the way I cook. My whole flair is like, I kind of clean it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So grilling, is really big for me. Obviously because we got the spice rubs, heavy seasoning, nice crust on steaks, big steaks like that, chicken. The thing is you can have, good food, but you can have great food. You cook it right, you season it good, you marinate it, whatever, you need to do to get that point to where you fall in love with it, you eat it all the time. But you don't feel guilty, you don't feel bad about it, but yeah, enjoy.
So is there a way to make this healthier? Or because I see a lot of butter.
Yeah, so you absolutely don't have to use butter and when you're cooking steak. But I'm just saying, you can just use canola oil in the pan. But the thing is, I'm going to show you how to cook it and baste it in butter, right? It's classic, steakhouse technique. If you don't have a grill at home or if you're not into grilling, this is a great alternative to be able to cook a steak at home. Just get you a nice hot pan, cast iron or a stainless steel pan like this one. Have enough space in it, heavy bottom to where it kind of maintains the heat. and holds the heat as you're cooking. And so basically, you get the steak to a point where you sear it and you baste it, you get a nice crust on it, and you put it inside of a preheated oven for about 400 degrees to finish the cooking process to your liking, where it is medium, medium rare. I kind of like mine medium rare, where you see the meat is still a little pink inside. That way you know it's not overcooked. It's perfect. It's gonna fall apart.
So is there certain pans that they need to use to go in the oven, or what
Yeah,
would you recommend?
so definitely if you put in a pan in the oven, don't have a rubber handle on it, right? Because you know that's over with. I've seen people do that, and it just melts off. Like seriously. They have the ones where they supposedly are oven, oven proof, but just get one of these. Just make sure you have a towel like this when you pull it out, or oven mitt or something like that. But the thing is, when you go into the oven, have it preheated already. Always have stuff preheated. Don't ever put steak in a cold pan. Don't put meat on a cold grill. It's important to have it already hot. Steaks like this, bring them out, let them sit on the counter for about 20 minutes, right? Let them come to room temp. That's called tempering the meat, right? Because you don't want to put an ice cold steak in the pan because you're not going to get a good sear on it, okay? And it's going to cook unevenly in the center. So it will never be perfect. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. You let it sit out. It's not going to grow like, bacteria, nothing like that. So basically what I like to do, I'll put like a little salt and a little pepper on it, right? On both sides, okay? It looks like a lot of salt, but the thing is, this is a thick steak, right? Think about it. It's thick, right? Nothing inside. So you got to season it liberally on all sides, right?
So, quick question.
Yes.
Do you ever marinate it? I know my fiance, he does that, put it in the, I don't know, refrigerator for.
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick little marinade, what I do on all my steaks, right? So I take shallots, which are in the onion family, right? A little sweeter than onions, really powerful flavor. So shallots, garlic, rosemary, thyme, these two things here. Garlic, I add shallots to this. Chop it up real fine, put it in a bowl, stir in some canola oil like this, all right? Put that over the steak overnight, 24 hours. It's great on lamb, it's great on chicken, anything you like, right? The thing is, don't ever put salt in a marinade. If you put salt in a marinade, right, it draws out all the moisture. So just how I put this salt on this steak, if I let this sit here another 20 minutes, you'll see water start running out. Well, that's all your moisture, because the salt actually pulls out the moisture of the steak. And then you say, man, the steak is dry. Well, did you put a lot of salt on it, overnight, because you wake up the next day, you got a bowl of water, and that's all the juices, because salt draws it out. So,
that makes sense. Okay.
yeah. And so the thing is, hot pan. So I'm going to get this nice and hot. I'm going to put a little of my steak, little steak rub on here.
Yeah, and if y'all have any questions, and even people online, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat, and we'll answer them for you.
All right. So I'm going to season this with a little steak rub here. Y'all know this guy, right? All right. So hot pan going in, right? And you want to make sure that you get the oil underneath the protein that you're cooking. So you kind of want to circulate the pan to make sure that it's coated, right? So the thing is, hot pan, leave this alone, let it do its thing. A lot of times people go in here, right? They'll start messing around with it, and it won't get that good sear, okay, all the way across that you're trying to achieve. For those at home, I don't know where I'm looking, but those at home, if you like grilling, the same thing. Very hot grill. Once you put the meat on the grill, leave it alone. Because if you go and turn it, and don't be poking no holes in it with a fork, because you're letting all the juices come out of it, right? So you want to maintain all the moisture inside the protein.
So for the steak, if you're at home, you said that to keep the pan hot before you put the steak in there?
Yeah.
Does it need to be really, really hot?
Smoke.
We have medium.
No, it should be
5, 6,
smoking
7.
hot, right?
Okay.
So you saw how it was smoking before I put the meat in it.
Someone said best steak rub ever.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, okay. Thank you, whoever you are
Gary.
out there in TV land. And the thing is, what you want to do is just let it get a nice crust. It's thick. It's not going to overcook. I mean, look how thick it is. It's
So
going
we
to
do
be
put it on
fine.
high. Like really
Yeah,
high.
you keep it on high. Same thing for fish.
So it won't burn the outside and then
It's
kind of
going
change the inside. Like
it's going to give it a nice crust,
okay.
a nice color.
Okay.
You see how dark
Oh.
that
you were
is, but
thinking,
the
yeah.
inside is still perfect. So that's how you want it. That's what you want to achieve here. And the crust actually adds flavor, right? Because the thing is, if it's not no crust, I always say no crust, no flavor. When I'm smoking brisket, if there's no bark, it's like no bite. Like you got to have that crust. And the reason it's good to have spice rubs because spice rubs are a quick, easy way to get a lot of flavor into something. Even if you're not marinating something, use a spice rub, preferably Kim Patrick spice rubs if you already have them.
Definitely gonna get some.
But you get a nice crust, and the spice rub actually becomes part of the steak, if that makes sense, right? It becomes part of it, So this is kind of where you want to go with that. And see, now you got a nice color on the steak, so it's not burned. It's just a sear, right? So sear is flavor. And then what I'm going to do, now obviously we're not going to finish cooking the steak all the way through, okay? But like I said, at home, at this point, if you don't want to use butter, herbs, or whatever, I would take this, pop it in a preheated oven, 400 degrees for about maybe 15 more minutes. Take it out, take the steak out of the pan when it comes out, right? Put it on a cutting board, let it rest for about 20 minutes before you slice into it. If you slice right into it right away, all the juice is going to run out on the cutting board, and again, you're going to have a dry steak. The goal is to maintain moisture, but also maintain flavor and a nice crust. Um,
So
throughout the cooking
for
process.
people that don't like the pink, just seeing the pink, would they still make it? I guess crest at the top or crest?
Yeah. So if you want a well done, right, well done center.
I'm not that person, but
No,
some people
right,
are.
right. Yeah. So for you well done folks at home, you know who you are.
It's
So-
always dry to me. Or is,
Yeah,
is
it's
there
dry.
a way to? Oh, so it is
No,
just dry.
I mean it's dry. I mean some people that's their preference. I mean occasionally I've had a couple clients that, throughout my career that say, hey, I like mine well done. I'm like, you sure? But no, I honor what they want. I give it to them, and that's just how they like to eat it. A lot of times people grow up eating steak one way and they don't know, or as a kid or as a young adult they eat it. That's all they know until they experience it cooked a different way and they love it. You know what I mean? So, but no, you just cook it longer, right? So medium to medium well. If you get invest in a little meat thermometer, right? You stick it, you insert it into the center of the meat, right? 135, 140 degrees, that's like medium, okay? Medium rare. Anything past that, 150, 160, that's when you get into the whole well done kind of state. But another easy way to figure it out, if you take your hand like this, make a fist like that, right? Mm-hmm. So if you press here,
someone tried to teach me this. I didn't understand it.
So like literally press. Just like a quick little way to test the doneness of the steak. So if you press here, right, on your hand, it's really soft.
I need to form it some way?
Yeah, just like this.
Okay.
So it's soft right here, right?
Uh-huh.
So then if you press the steak, well, it's soft, right? So but if you get closer to here where it's tighter, then that's well done. So because it's tight, the muscles tighten up and it's well done, right? So then that's when you get to the well done. This is a quick way to test it, right? But for example, this T-bone steak, it's a kind of like a two-part steak, right? So you have on the T-bone, what you have is the strip steak right here. If you look, it's actually two steaks. The T-bone separates. So you have a strip steak right here, and then this is the fillet, right? The thicker they cut it, it becomes like a porterhouse steak. So usually about 3 pounds, 3 to 4 inches thick, right? And those can feed like, maybe 2 to 3 people.
Oh, and is that why they said a tomahawk? Like, is that what you're talking about? Is that the reason why it's called a tomahawk?
Well, this steak right here is a tomahawk steak, right? Uh-huh. And they call it tomahawk because of the long bone. So it's kind of like a tomahawk. Before it's cut, it actually looks just like a tomahawk, which the tomahawk steak is actually a ribeye steak. Okay, it's a ribeye and it keeps the long bone attached. It looks cool, you know what I mean? You know,
it feeds like 2 or 3 people.
it feeds 2 or 3 people. This right here, a lot of times people take the bone and they gnaw on it, you know.
Oh, really?
They got, you know, I cook for people that have dogs. They save them. They let the dogs have them. And this right here. So this right here is a smoked chili compound butter, right? So compound butters is basically you take butter, you just basically take butter, right? Bring it to room temp, let it get soft. You add in any kind of herbs, fresh herbs like these, garlic, smoked chilies, chipotle, whatever you want to add into it. Chop really, really fine, or you can put it in a food processor, and then you form it into like a loaf, right? You roll it into wax paper, and then when you're ready for it, I make it all the time. I freeze them, so when I have an event, I take them out. I slice them into a little disc like this. You can put it on top of the steak. Before you go into the oven, put a piece of compound butter in the oven. It's going to melt throughout the steak. But in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some fresh herbs. So I've got some rosemary and some thyme. And into the pan, I'm going to add some garlic. So this is another technique that I like to do prior to going into the oven. Now, you can actually fully cook this steak this way if you have the time and if you have the patience. If you don't want to use the oven, it's a basting technique where you pretty much baste it till it's done. Okay, so it's a classic French technique. They use a lot of butter, but I promise you.
You said it's a French technique?
Yeah.
It's saying the black folks do without the butter?
Oh, no.
I know we use a lot of butter.
Yeah, the basting part, pretty much, you know.
Okay.
You know, it's just an old school kind of technique.
This is smelling good. For the people at home, this is smelling real good.
Wish y'all had smell-o-vision at home. You know, scratch and sniff. You know. So look, I've got the garlic cloves in there. I've got the butter, right? So I'm going to bring it back up to kind of like medium-high heat because I want to get a good roast on the garlic cloves as well. And then what I'm going to do, the key is to slowly let the herbs, the fresh herbs, kind of infuse the butter. So now the butter is going to take on the flavor of the herbs and the garlic, right? All right. Yeah. So now you got like this garlic herb butter that you can put on anything. You know, you can put this on like crusty bread. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something like that. Be delicious. Some baguette, some French bread.
So you say we can save, or you just talking about making new?
Oh yeah. You can make it, and almost like a compound. You can make it as a compound butter. Chop these herbs up, room temp butter. Put it in a container. When you're ready to use butter, or you want more flavor than just normal butter, this is unsalted butter, by the way. Always cook with unsalted because you can control the salt content. If you get salted butter and you add more salt, then you taste something, it's like, oh, it's really salty.
There's a question online. Do you use salted butter or unsalted butter?
Must be I'm just playing. No.
From boys.
No. Hey, so no, I use unsalted butter because you're able to control your own salt level. If you use salted butter, then and you add more salt to whatever you're cooking, then the end result is going to be like really, really salty, and you don't want that. So
that's what I have trouble with.
Yeah,
it gets super
and
salty.
you're like, why is it so salty?
Yeah. Salted butter. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
So always use unsalted butter. And so then what I like to do is, so what you do is you take some of these herbs, right? And you put it.
That was so good.
Come get it here. Come on, come get it here. So, yeah. So what I like to do is I take this like this, and so you're just slowly basting the steak, right? And with the garlic herb butter. So it's going to put all that flavor. Yeah, pretty much. You bathing it in all this. I mean, you'll be happy too if you were hanging out in some garlic herb butter. You know, yeah. So, and then at this point is when you can just kind of go into the oven, right? Just like this, 400 degrees. Take it out, and what you would do is you remove this. You would take this out, put it on the cutting board, and just let it hang out for, like I said, about 15, 20 minutes. Let it come to room temp, right? And then what I like to do is I like to serve it with like a little demi-glaze.
I was gonna ask you what that was.
Yeah, so gravy. No, no. So it's like this is I took beef broth, right? So beef broth, and you can do a chicken demi-glaze, but we're doing steak, so it's beef. So basically, you make like a chicken stock. So carrots, celery, onions, roast those in the oven first, 425 degrees. The important thing is you don't want to. I'm sorry, you don't want to miss steps, right? Go the extra mile. Roast the vegetables first. Don't just throw them in a pot with water and boil them, right? Because you miss out on flavor like that. So roast them first. Put them in a pot with some, water. Okay, you let it. Oh, and beef bones, whatever you want to use. Roast the bones too. If you're making chicken broth, roast the chicken bones as well.
Okay.
I make this smoked chicken stock. I smoke chickens, and I take the carcass of the bones from the smoked chicken, and I make smoked chicken broth. So when I'm making like different recipes or something like that, well, I know I got smoked chicken broth, I got smoked beef stock, more flavor. Yes, ma'am. Oh no, no. You, yeah, just oil because I actually do. I put salt and pepper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I roast them. Because think about it, flavor, right? You don't want to wait till you get to the end and then you're like, oh man, it doesn't taste. So it's levels, right? Like I said, it's levels to this, right? Yeah. So don't skip levels, right? Because you miss out on flavor. So the more steps you can take as you go, it's like building a house, right? So you start with the foundation, okay, and you keep building on top of that until you get to the end, and then you taste it, and you're like, wow, it was well worth it. Like my mom back in the day, she would make sweet potato pies. Grandmama, everybody in the family made sweet potato pies. They would take the sweet potatoes and they would boil them in water, right? I was a kid, I didn't understand. It was the best sweet potato pie I ever had, right? So as I got older, like I said, as we get older, we try new things. We appreciate medium rare steaks and stuff like that. So I started roasting the sweet potatoes first, right? Because they get sweet,
Is that
sweet.
what you do? You shake your head?
They caramelize. Yeah. So roasting anything, if you can, or sautéing anything, because you're adding more depth of flavor in it. So now when you make a roasted sweet potato pie, they're already sweet, but then they become sweet, sweet. So I call them sweet potatoes. So then you add your typical sweet potato pie ingredients to the roasted mashed sweet potatoes, and now you got this awesome sweet potato pie, right? So if my mom was still here today, I would absolutely love her for her to try a roasted sweet potato version of that. So, but it's those things that I like to take, as a chef and as an artist. Like you're an artist, I'm an artist, So I go into my lab, which is my kitchen or my outdoor kitchen, and I like to, come up with different things. I'll play with different ideas. When I developed my spice rubs, it took me years to get that because I self-tested every one of them to make sure on all different types of meats, vegetables, and things like that. So I know when you get this item on your food or, in your home, you season your food with it, you'll be happy. I'm not trying to sell you spice rubs or anything like that.
Well, I'm
but
buying one
but
today.
I'm just here to let you know it's all about flavor. It's all about just building those levels. So cooking is one of those things where if you have the time, take your time. Don't be lazy about it. Don't skip steps. And it's a process. It's a process. But you just have to trust the process. Like this steak right here. This is one of my signature steaks. I do this all the time in my events, right? So what I do, I take a raw tomahawk steak. It's about 2.5, almost 3 inches thick, right? So I actually stuff the inside of the steak with roasted garlic cloves, right? And then I tie it up to hold it in, right? It's a process. And then I put that herb marinade that we talked about on it, 24 hours in the refrigerator. Take it out, season it with steak rub, put it on the grill for about 30 minutes, let it smoke. It's not done on the inside, right? It's still it's only like 80% cooked at this point. I just want to add some smoke flavor. So when I show up at your house for your event or whatever, the only thing I have to do is take that steak and sear it and get a nice crust on it, right? And then I finish it in the oven. And then At that point, when I bring it to your table, it looks like this. So the thing is, there's a lot of behind the scenes things that we do as artists, right? So when we show up, like him, he's behind the scenes. It's a lot of behind the scene things that us artists do to get to the end product. So when we show up, to perform or whatever, then that's what you taste, or that's what you experience, that's what you see. So it's a lot of.
We make it look easy.
Yeah, we make it look easy, but it's a process. It's a lot of planning. It's a lot of for me, it's a lot of shopping. It's a lot of prep work, a lot of knife work, just a lot of detail. It's all about the details. It's all about details, and this is what we achieve at that. And so yeah, it's just we love what we do. So yes, ma'am.
Oh, I do the same.
I mean,
call us out.
well, it depends on what you're using the minced garlic for. So this right here, you couldn't use minced garlic, right? Because it will burn first, because it's ground, right? So it would just get black. It will burn, right? So these whole garlic cloves, they could get a little more char on these and get a little more brown. Normally, that's what I would do. But minced garlic, yes. But the easy way, what I do is I buy the whole garlic cloves, right? Like I go to Costco and I get these big, like bulk, like in bulk. It's like $8 for like a gallon, right? I take them home. I roast some of them because I know I'm going to use roasted garlic to stuff steaks and all these different things, right? I take some. I make these little garlic chips. See, these are little garlic chips on the top of here, right?
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, slice them real thin, deep fry them, put them on the steak, fish, whatever. Okay, so I use it in multiple ways, and then I take some of it and I put it in my food processor and I mince it like that. If you have a food processor at home, if not, they're very inexpensive. I encourage you to invest in one of those. It makes compound butters, anything you want to do. It will encourage you to do more in the kitchen, right? So, or you can get a knife and just mince away, And the way you do that is, well, the way I do it, I take a garlic clove like this, right? And you take a knife, right? And the thing is, you smash it, okay? You smash it, and then you work the knife through to get it nice and minced. But
I'm trying to like cut in this like.
Okay. You smash it.
Something new.
Yeah, you smash it so it won't run over the place. Yeah. So you smash it, it will stay in place.
Some cooking classes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So yeah, that's how you do. And I also do speaking classes. Yeah. I do private cooking classes as well. Yeah. So if you're interested in me coming to show you or your group or I do couples cooking classes as well. I can show you, from start to finish how to prepare, different meals. And the thing about it is, you get to eat what you cook. Mm-hmm. And so they're very interactive. So if you want to get involved, if you don't, you can pull up a seat, just as these ladies are in here today, and I talk you through it, and you get to eat what you cook or what you watch me cook. So, but yeah, any other questions? But definitely get your food processor. You put a whole lot of garlic cloves to turn it on, poach it till it's nice and fine. Take that garlic out. Get you some of these little containers like these. You can order these on Amazon. They got the taller, the quart ones as well. Put your garlic in there with a little oil, refrigerate it. It'll last forever. When you need some minced garlic for whatever dish you're cooking, get a spoon, put it in, whatever you do.
Someone said this is great.
Thank you. So stocks as well. Chicken stocks, beef stocks, stuff like that.
Can you freeze it? Well, you probably want fresh all the time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, you're a chef, so you probably.
Yeah. Well, actually, when I make marinades, honestly, because the marinades take so long to make, right? That herb marinade, because I use it like every week. I'm always using them, right? So I make it in bulk batches, and I freeze them in little containers like this. So when I'm ready to pull out my steak marinade, it's done. Compound butters, done. Stock, smoked chicken stock, smoked beef stock, stuff like that, it's done. When I need to make a demi-glaze, like I was telling you like this, this right here is a whole nother process, right? It starts with beef stock, okay? So in a pan, I roast garlic, shallots, things like that, herbs. I add the beef stock to it, right? I add Modelo beer. So this is made with, Modelo beer. I'm big on big flavors. You know, I'm a Texas boy at heart, born and raised in Texas. So Southwest, I love cooking with chilies and all those different things like that. Can I cook collard greens? Not absolutely. That's what I do. That's what I grew up on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Collard
Definitely,
greens.
you know, bread pudding, gumbo, dirty rice, all that. You know, oxtails, all that stuff.
This leaves, Gary said lobster mac and cheese directions. They want it all.
Okay, so basically, lobster mac and cheese or any mac and cheese starts with a bechamel sauce, right? So like a cream sauce, right? So I'll talk you through it, and I'll get you the recipe. And or y'all can follow me on IG at Chef Ken Patrick. You take a little flour in a pan with some oil or butter, right? In the saucepan, in the pan. Whisk it until it comes together, right? You add your cream, heavy cream, or if you want to lighten it up, you can do half and half. If you want to go lighter, a little more healthy, you can just go whole milk, right? So there are ways to make a healthier version of this, right? So even with the pasta, you can use wheat pasta. So different ways to lighten up, right? You can use low fat cheese. You don't have to use like, you know, the heavy. So it's just thinking, right? It's just going.
Have you switched it up like that?
I have, because I had clients that, you know, they're health conscious clients, right? So they you know, they want to lighten up things. So I'll do like whole milk, you know, wheat pasta, light low fat cheese. I have vegetarian, I have vegan, so I make vegan mac and cheese. So I have all these different type of variations that I do. So in the pan, you add your cream to that. What the flour in the roux is going to do is going to thicken that, right? So you let that simmer for about 20 minutes. That's your basic cream sauce. You can take that, you can make queso with it. You can add jack cheese to that, make queso. Game day coming up, Super Bowl. Make your get you some tortilla chips. Don't buy them, fry them. That's what I say. So much better. So to that, you can add your cheeses, right? So, for example, I use Gruyere cheese. I use smoked Gouda cheese, Parmesan, different cheeses. Whatever cheese you like, add it to that sauce. Now that's your cream sauce, right? And then I put a little truffle oil in there, right? A little truffle.
Okay, I want to try some of that.
Yeah, a little truffle oil in there, right? And so then you have your cooked pasta. You pour that over your cooked pasta, right? It has to be cooked. Cook your pasta. Hey, trust me, son. Yeah, al dente. I've seen people pour it over. I've seen all kinds of stuff. All right, that's why I'm here to help. So you pour it over the pasta. You incorporate it. You fold it in. Okay, and then you add your cooked lobster meat to that. Has to be cooked lobster meat. So when it's red like this, you know it's cooked. I only put these on the top because it looks cool. It's presentation, right? But there's lobster meat throughout here, right? You can do crab mac and cheese. You could just do no protein. You can just do, you know, truffle mac and cheese. You know, sometimes I make smoked mac and cheese. I actually put it in the pan and put it on the grill outside, and I make this smoked mac and cheese real delicious.
You know what I like when I cook mine like this? Smoked chipotle cheddar.
Oh yeah, that's good.
It gives a
little kick.
Yeah, a little kick to it.
See, like I said, that's what I'm saying. Anything you can do to elevate, you know, make it taste good. That's the thing. Make your food taste great. You know, don't skip steps. So, any other questions?
They say no way we're lightening up a mac and cheese.
What is that?
He said no way we're lightening up a mac and cheese.
Oh, exactly. You know, I mean, if you're gonna do it, mac and cheese is one of those things like.
Yeah, you got to do it all the way.
Yeah, you got to go all the way.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where when people eat it, you know, you want them to say, oh, that's the best mac and cheese I've ever had. You know.
Because I put like 4 or 5 different cheeses and bacon. And
yeah.
I put like
you finish some bacon on top of there, some green onions, some chives. You know what I mean? And just go ham, literally. Anything what?
Wait, what?
Put what?
Eggs? I've never heard of that.
We'll be right back after this.
I know, I was like, you're not invited to the cookout.
You know what though? Like seriously? No, seriously. And I know why you're saying that, right?
I've never heard of that. Oh, no. To bake it?
Yeah. So now normally at home this would be baked, right? I would bake this mac and cheese. Especially if I'm doing it like I'll put in like nice little ramekin or something, you know, intimate. But no, this would be a baked mac and cheese. You know, mix it, put the cheese on top, finish it. People put egg in mac and cheese.
Raisins, no way.
I've seen that. I've seen raisins. I've seen raisins. I've seen carrot cake mac and cheese. No, but the thing is, if you put people put egg in it because it's eggs work. Raw eggs work as a binder in food. It keeps it together, right? And that's fine. You can put egg in there if you like because you're going to cook it anyway. You know what I mean? So the egg will no longer be raw. The egg will work as a binder if you're making bread pudding, if you're making like, anything that you need something held together. Egg is a good binder. Do I put egg in it? I don't feel like I need to because I don't want it to be, I want it to, when you eat it, I want it to be just kind of like loose. You know what I'm trying to say? But, and mozzarella cheese, you got to put mozzarella cheese in mac. Mozzarella cheese gives it that whole pull thing. So you go in and you, like pizza, that's why they put mozzarella cheese. Saying you want that same effect with mac and cheese. Whatever cheese you put, definitely put some mozzarella cheese in because that's the way you get that pull factor in it.
So,
yes.
Shay said, what is the best place to get your lobster meat? That's a good question.
So this lobster meat right here came from Central Market off of, if you're in Dallas, Lovers Lane, off of Lovers and Greenville Avenue. You can buy about a pound. That lobster meat, about a pound, it's about $30 a pound. And it comes just like this, okay? And you could take it, you could chop it up. What I do is one of my other signature items I take lobster and I make lobster mac and cheese. Lobster crab cakes.
Is Central Market only in Texas? I don't know where she's at.
Oh yeah, so Central Market is a version of HEB, but it's like their big supermarket. Another comparison to that maybe HEB and Central Market are Texas based. Mm-hmm. They're home base in Houston, but Whole Foods is national. So Whole Foods is similar to Central Market. So if you're in another state, Whole Foods will have this because I've gotten out of Whole Foods as well. Mm-hmm. Or you can buy a lobster and steam it and peel it and go through all that if you like. But no, try Whole Foods if you're in out of state. So, any other questions? Any other questions out there? No? Oh, okay. It's a delay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like I can actually hear. Like, yeah. Y'all got any? So you cook? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What is your best dish that you like cooking? You have like a signature dish, like when people eat it, they say, "Man, like, can you make this?"
Yes, anything searing in my pasta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pasta.
And then anything with like cream sauce.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I like salmon. You put a piece of salmon on top of that, and I'm happy. Piece of grilled salmon. Yeah. So
we were talking about salmon. I can't even say it because I can't even cook it. I always mess it up. I don't know why.
So here's
like this white stuff coming out of it.
Oh yeah.
What am I doing wrong?
People always talk about the white stuff coming out of it. So the thing is, salmon, right? Just like steak, bring it to room temp. Let it sit on the counter for about 20 minutes. I promise you. No bacteria, nothing, none of that stuff. All right? So super hot pan. The pan should be smoking hot. Like, I'm serious because you think otherwise, but trust me. You put a little oil in it. The way to know your pan is hot, when you put oil in it, when it starts shimmering, when you see it shimmering in the pan, you know it's hot and it's smoking. So literally smoking hot. As soon as you put a protein in the pan, it's going to cool it down right away. It's going to knock off about 15 degrees anyway, right? Because you're adding something that's not hot to something that is hot, right? So you leave it alone, let it get a good sear on it, right? Flip it over, okay? Like I did the steak. You have a nice crust on it, right? Now, depending on the thickness of the salmon is generally probably about like that. Put it in the oven, let it finish. The white stuff, it's just what it is, right?
It's supposed to be that.
Right, but you can just, if you're doing it in a pan, if you're searing it, flip it over. If the white stuff bothers you, I make this, like, you can, make like a little glaze. I make this Ancho Bourbon glaze. I glaze it first every time I cook salmon. And I put that on there, finish it up, it has a nice crust. You can see it on Instagram or Facebook. I actually just did something the other night at an event.
Someone really knows you.
Who is
he said, ask him about his bread pudding. It's amazing. Even Sherry, who doesn't usually like bread pudding, couldn't get enough, and she put a whole bunch of exclamation marks. So you should have brought the bread pudding.
I know, I should.
I'm missing out.
I know, yeah. So bread pudding is one of those things I like to make. Different variations. Growing up, it was always a raisin bread pudding, right? Classic, Southeast Texas, Louisiana. You go to New Orleans, right? So now, all different variations. Times change. People start putting different fruits and different things in bread pudding. I make a sweet potato bread pudding. I make a cherry and white chocolate bread pudding. All these different variations. A warm date bread pudding is really good. And then I make homemade ice creams to complement those bread puddings. So my number one ice cream that I make is my sweet potato ice cream. People can't get enough of that one. So yeah, it's good. I make a pecan pie. Either I make a pecan pie, I make a bourbon pecan pie, or I make a pecan pie bread pudding, and I'll serve the sweet potato ice cream with that and a whiskey caramel sauce. It's like, it's crazy. Yeah. So just call me. I'll come cooking for you. I promise.
Call you
every day. Yeah, every day. Yeah. So key lime pie is one of another signature dish that I make. I make a toasted coconut key lime pie, which is really delicious.
Joel said, do you make spoon bread? What is that?
I've never made spoon bread before, but I know what it is. It's
Is that a Texas thing, Louisiana?
No, spoon bread it's like an international dish. But no, I've never made that before. But I know what it is. I've eaten it. I've just never made it. So apparently she's had it, right? Have you had it before?
Joel, have you had it before? So what is spoon bread? Can you tell us?
Spoon bread is like, it's soft. It's like different variations. So it's like bread pudding, right? But it's real soft. It's literally like spoon bread. It's mushy, right? You know what I mean? So
bread pudding?
yeah, it's similar to bread pudding. So things in some regions are called things, different names in other regions. You know what I mean? What we call bread pudding may be called something else somewhere else. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Gumbo here and gumbo in other places. I'm like, no, sir.
We call it chitlins.
Yeah.
It's really,
because the thing is, there's a lot of like, I don't want to call it bad cooking, but I see a lot of stuff on social media. I see a lot of things, it's just a lot of things that, like COVID, right? When COVID hit, it pulled a lot of cooks out of people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was happy to see that a lot of people were actually like really like going like cooking at home, and I've seen a lot of people just cooking stuff, salmon and different dishes, and just as a family, I've seen families cooking, back at the table. So that's a plus, right? Because it brought more people, together. Think about it, like literally, it really has, like, and I know because I'm a private chef and I see it, because a lot of families call me to come cook for them, like whole families at home, just them, kids, family of 5, family of 6, they don't want to go out. So it's just bringing them, food always brings people together.
So Gary said, have you ever published a book or think about publishing a book, and what would you call it?
Yeah, so Gary, I'm working on a book. Gary, right? Okay. I'm working on my book right now. It's been, I've been working on it for 3 years though. So work with me, Gary. So the thing is, and I say 3 years because things keep changing, right? So obviously I've changed in 3 years, so now my book is going to be an actual memoir now and a cookbook combined. Because initially it was just going to be a cookbook. But then for those of you who know me and you look back and you remember Food Life with Chef Ken is my slogan, right? And it means speaking life through food is what I do. Literally, I speak life through food, right? And so I had to make a statement. I had to, change my whole dynamic, how I think, and what that really represents. Because I was Food Life with Chef Ken, I was teaching people how to cook healthy, but I wasn't healthy, right? I was getting invited to go cook at these health events, American Heart Association, all these different things, and I didn't think enough. I was a chef. I was showing people how to cook, so I had to like rebrand myself. I had to fit It had to fit. You know what I mean?
Your brand.
I had
All about branding.
I had to fit, yeah. So now I had to rebrand, and so that's why the book delay. So it's going to be a memoir. So I'm going to go through different chapters of my life, how I did this. I have recipes to reflect those different things. Going back home, so I'm really excited about it. And the title is actually going to be called "Food Life with Chef Ken." So it's about my life and a lot of encouraging things, but definitely a lot of delicious, colorful food and a lot of amazing recipes. So.
And then before I forget, because I have bad memory, Shay said, "What is the best seasoning to put on salmon, and how do you prevent it from falling apart?"
Okay, so you got to have a spatula, number one. I've seen people with forks and all kind of things trying to flip it over. Okay, so the best seasoning of mine would be for salmon. I like my barbecue spice rub on salmon because it has, brown sugar in it. It gives a nice little sweetness, a little caramelized, it's a little smoky as well. Or you can just use salt and pepper. But the way to keep it from falling apart is, you handle it, delicately. Fish is really flaky. And, most fish, different fishes you get, they are flaky, right? So you just handle it with care, right? I mean, don't go in there and what did it do to you? Nothing, right? So, I mean, just go in there, like, seriously, what did it do to you?
Mine usually fall apart too.
Yeah, it will fall apart. Like,
What did it do to you?
Hey, Shay, so you go in there with a spatula, and you gingerly flip it over, right? It's not a hamburger patty. It's fish. It will fall apart if you treat it like it. If you treat it rough, it'll fall apart. So just take care of it. You can put in an air fryer, or another thing, like to totally, if you want to skip the searing part altogether, if you're a little intimidated, if you think it's gonna fall apart, I would just, for your home, take a pan like this, right? Put some parchment paper down, line it, a pan liner. Put your fish on the pan, season it with the spice rub, 400-degree oven, pop it in the oven, right? Let the oven do its thing, or air fryer, right? Let the air fryer cook it. You don't have to do that. I'm a chef. I got the chef mind, so I want to sear it to get a hard crust. But if you want to have it like a roasted kind of salmon, will you achieve that hard crust? No, but it will be cooked depending on what you put on top. If you put a spice rub or a glaze on it, it will caramelize and give a nice crust on top in the oven, 400 something degrees. So, Sharon, if you want to do it that way, where you don't want to risk it breaking, I recommend you do it that way.
Gary, he said, I don't know what that word is. Have you cooked the Sous-Vide method? I don't know.
Sous-Vide.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Gary. So yeah. So I do Sous-Vide. So I have the Nova Sous-Vide machine at home. So Sous-Vide is basically cooking meat or protein or vegetables. You submerge them in water, and you cook it from the inside out, right? In plastic bags, vacuum sealed bags, in a water bath. If you can picture that.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And the water circulates, and you bring it up. And it circulates, and it cooks it
perfectly.
evenly. So when you show up, or when you're ready to finish the cooking process, hot pan. Mm-hmm. Mind you, the steak is cooked because the readout is going to tell you the correct doneness or where it should be when you pull it out of that water. And you just finish it by a hard sear on both sides. So,
but you probably prefer it in the pan, not because that takes like an hour. Or something.
It takes a while. It takes a while. So, for example, this is not a sous vide method. This is called reverse searing because when I show up at your home, the steak has already been pre-smoked. It's already been pre-cooked a little bit. So when I get to your house, I just finish the cooking process, right? So it's called reverse searing, right? So it's cooked in reverse. So when I show up, all I have to do is sear it, and it's done, right? So similar to sous vide. Sous vide is, it's fun. I don't do it a lot, but I'm one of those gadget guys, So I do have.
Own one?
I do. Yeah, it's called the Nova brand, the Nova Pro. So there's a Nova for cooks, and then you got the Nova Pro. So I have the Pro one.
Okay.
I'm not a pro, but I got.
What?
Nah. So I have the Pro one. So yeah, so Gary, that's if you're into sous vide, if you're into learning how to do that, they have different sous vide machines that are inexpensive to like the really high dollar ones, but they generally do the same thing. Yeah, yeah. So a lot of times you see stuff, you know, you get caught up in all these different things, and it's like, wow, like you asked about the pan. Should I get this pan versus this? I always say, as long as it has a heavy bottom. People say, hey, what's the best knife to use? I use these. This brand is Zelite.
It is really nice.
If they have different German, they have Japanese blades. If you go to Zelite, Zilite, infinity.com, as soon as you log in, you'll see I'm on the homepage. And their knives, I mean, are really good.
They're pricey though.
They are pricey.
Yeah, like $300 for one knife.
Yeah. But the thing is,
they're good though.
They have a lot of sales on them every now and then on Amazon, and they always announce it on the website. Or if you just have a sharp knife. That's what I say. People always say a sharp knife. You know what I mean? And take care of it. Don't put it in the dishwasher. If you have a go-to knife, like this is probably like one of my go-tos. I use them all the time. So take care of them. Don't put them in the dishwasher. Hand wash them when you're done, right? Dry them off right away. Keep them sharp, and it will take care of you.
And Gary said he knows you by him and his I guess wife Sherry. They met y'all. They won a private dinner at a private I don't know, some charity event, and so they say you got them ever since they won. And
have they used it yet? Because it probably expired, Gary.
no, they said
I'm
no.
They
said they loved it. That's why.
Gary,
why fans of
what's his last name?
Gary Help. He's been HALE. It might have been a while.
Okay. Hey, Gary.
He's a huge fan of yours.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Gary. I really appreciate that, man.
All right.
Any other questions?
Any other advice you would?
Zelite, like elite, you just put a Z on the front. Yeah, ZeliteInfinity.com. Zelite Infinity. So they're great knives. They have different steels, German, Japanese, Damascus steel, which are the ones, they have the little design on the blade. So all different ones. So
those are amazing.
Yeah, they are good knives.
They're really good.
Yeah, so.
No.
Because I know a lot of people in thought that they should wash it because like you wash it.
And what do you wash it with? I don't know if y'all seen that video a long time ago. You were watching it. The guy was like washing it with soap and water.
No.
And he was like, "You gotta wash your meat." And he was on live. And he was like, "You gotta wash it." It was like, "You're not supposed to put soap on it." And
yeah,
like,
I've seen. Look, I'll tell you. Like I said, since this whole COVID thing, I've seen a lot of people cooking at home. I've seen people like washing greens in the sink with dish. Well, I'm like, no, you don't.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah. So no, honestly, no, I don't. I don't rinse off steaks. I don't do any of that. Right. So when I go to, it would. You don't want. I mean, you just. I trust where I get it. It's certified. It's, you go to a reputable, a meat market and make that your go-to place, and you develop a relationship with your fish guy, with your meat guy. When you walk in, they should know who you are. You know what I mean? If you're an avid shopper like me, because I'm doing it all the time. I don't expect you to go, but if you do that, if you're a grocery shopper, get to know the people, and they will take care of you. So I get the steaks custom cut, right? So when they cut, they'll take the whole meat and they'll cut them, especially for me, right? Not just for me, but for you too, right? So if you ask, and then you'll see them, they'll take these brushes and they'll take their time and brush all the any loose stuff, marrow from when they shave it, slice it through with the blade, right? And they'll wipe them off, wrap them. So it's a whole process that they do, and you just have to trust them. Rinsing off chicken. I've seen people rinse, and I get that, right?
Where did that come from?
I butcher my own.
Where did that come from?
Well, the thing is, they don't, like the health department, they don't encourage you to rinse off. Because I worked in healthcare for 17 years, right? They don't encourage you to rinse off meat, because chicken especially, right? Because of salmonella spread, right? So think about it like this. You at home, you just bought some chicken. You open up the pack. You got the sink right here, right? You turn the water on. You rinse the chicken off. Now you got stuff splashing everywhere, right? So that's possible that you can spread salmonella and things on surfaces in your kitchen that you can't see that you don't even know about. That later you come touch and you touch something else, and then now you're like, I'm sick. Well, you know what's going on? All I did was, So that's why they say, because they want you to trust that before it gets to the supermarket where it comes from, that everything is how it's supposed to be, right? I get it. Yeah.
And you probably grew up on it, so.
Well, my mom, everybody, everybody
yeah.
washed the chicken off, everybody. But see, back in the day, things weren't where they are now as far as sanitation, cleanliness. The factories are like, everything is just is it's better, because back in the day, mom, she washing everything.
Yeah.
Chitlins, she out in the driveway with the hose. No, I'm just but yeah, I always say anything that requires you rinsing it off in the driveway, I ain't eating it. But chitlins, yeah, I grew up on that. Tripe, all that stuff. You probably know what tripe is. See?
Like a fish? Is it fish, right?
Tripe. Tripe is another part of the lining of
I've heard of it.
The pig.
Okay.
Yeah, we eat all that. Well, with chili, if you eat chili, you eat anything.
Yeah, you eat
anything. But I had my fair share of those back in the day.
So we have about 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Or probably less than that. So
any other questions?
Gary said that he met you at Speedway Children's Auction or something like that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then 2 people said, where can they buy? When can we see your book? Do you know a release date? And then where's the best? Where best to buy your rubs now?
Okay.
So I was gonna ask you, where can we buy your rubs?
Okay, so you can buy them. You can buy them at Ace Hardware. You can buy them online. You can actually go right on my Facebook page, Ken Patrick Spice Rubs, and you can order them straight like that off the page. They ship the next business day. If you're local, you'll get them within 2 to 3 days. If you're not, expect 5 to 7 days for your shipment to arrive. Or you can email me directly at kenpatrickspicerubs@gmail.com. And but yeah, Gary, I remember you. That was a fun event. That was at the Textbook Speedway. It was a charity event, and it was a competition. And
yeah,
well,
we all know. Said we're out of the steak rub. We've tried 4 of them so far. They love you.
I got you, Gary. I got you, man. I got you. Hit me up. Shoot me a message. I got you, man. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it.
So I think we're running out of time, but thank you all for joining us online and in person. And look out for Ken Patrick.
Yeah. So the book. Yeah. So I'm working on the book. I don't have a release date. But when it does release, it's going to be a big thing because I'm going to have my first official book signing at a Barnes & Noble. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, so it will be probably at the Barnes & Noble in Cedar Hill because I live in Cedar Hill, so it will be at the Cedar Hill location.
Okay. And tell them where they can follow you again.
You can follow me on IG, Instagram at Chef Ken Patrick. Facebook, you can find me at Ken Patrick and Ken Patrick Spice Rubs. All right?
And since this is so brand new, I'm going to shout myself out too. You can follow us at Savon Key Creative on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and LinkedIn if you want to. All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all.